Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Hey, good. Just typing up a Slack message. I'll be right back.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Doing good.
hey.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Like winter is coming, but hey.
Yeah, winter is coming, but not bad. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how was the summer in Paris and so on, but here was honestly quite hot. So yeah, I'm glad the winter is coming.
The summer was okay, to be honest, but this month of September is like crazy bad.
Yeah.
While I'm thinking about it, will you be able to join us for NotConf, Ulysses?
Oh, no. I was thinking on going there, but at the end I was not able to make it.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's tricky. I mean, I have some family issues sometimes to travel outside because so on. So it was a little bit tricky this time. But yeah, I think in the future I can make it. I mean, I missed the one in Bilbao. That was so sad because it was so
Yeah.
close to my house. So but yeah,
Next time.
let's see with the next one. Yeah, probably will miss the I think the next one is in US or is yeah, because it's one in the US and then one in Europe, right?
So
Like
there was one in Europe, like in September, like in Vienna.
oh
But the main stuff is the OpenJS Foundation took back the JSConf trademark, I think. So they
yeah.
plan to organize one in the US in 2025. I don't know when exactly, but that's the plan that I discussed with Robin. She was in Paris this week, so
Oh cool. Yeah. She was on holidays in Paris. Yeah, that's true.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good that they have the brand. So now we can have back GSConf. So that's going to be super cool,
Hey,
honestly.
yeah. Next one is to get the JavaScript from Oracle.
Yeah, there's a ongoing dispute, right? I mean, I see like a campaign ongoing or something like that, like getbackjavascript.com or something like that, right? I don't remember
Yeah, I see some
the
tweets and everything, and I guess they booked the name when they created JavaScript, like what, 1996, 1998, and they kept it. At least Sun microsystem kept it and was
yeah.
forwarded to Oracle when they were bought back.
Yep. Yeah, it always has been like a controversial thing, right? Where they never just give it back to the community.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. I was here. I was listening. Yeah, there was every once in a while I see on Twitter just some like, oh wow, I luckily a lot of the dev drama goes over my head, but I saw some stuff about the trademark stuff and some other weird things happening on Twitter this weekend. But that's Twitter. So Wes said he's not gonna be able to make it, which is fine. I was just posting an update in Slack and the TC channel. I'm still working on. I said that I would, work with Blake to have the release blog post like done by today. Didn't happen. Life won, but I took today off from work to work on the blog post and stuff. So I'm planning to have like another draft that uses what Wes wrote. I'll either push it up to his or I'll open a PR or one and then the other eventually. But I'm glad I'm doing it because there's a couple inconsistencies I caught just in our changelog, like small ones where it's like, hey, we deprecated response.send body, comma, status, use status, comma, body. And then another line we say, hey, we removed that, use this. So I'm basically going through and like testing everything that we're saying in the blog post, um, which is cool. Like I'm not trying to redo migration work, but I am like writing just for my own sake, like what does it look like in V4 for everything we say we're changing? What does it look like in V5 for everything we say that we're suggesting people move to? So I think that'll help whenever I pivot to go look at migration guide stuff, basically. Um, but um, but yeah, that's what I've been working on. Blake, I still would love to have you review it. I didn't reach out because I didn't have time to like do anything, basically. So but yeah, I am using some LLM stuff to rewrite some of the things, which luckily it's pretty good at. So, obviously we'll review a lot of the stuff, but just in terms of some of the suggestions that Blake had about let's be consistent in tone, let's be consistent in using we, let's shorten this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it can be good at pulling out and structuring some of the things that that Wes like freeform put out there basically. So, but then there'll be other bigger things about like, I still need to connect with Wes about what exactly he wanted to, put in there besides like, here's, changelog specific stuff. And then also some call outs about what's happening with the project. And then now that Ulysses has posted a lot of the security stuff, we can link to those things. We have to-dos in that post about link to the CVE for this. And I can go through and make sure that it gets linked up and stuff. So yeah.
Is it also something we want to do? I was thinking about your post uses for security. Do we want, I guess in the full project, we will have at least one release per month, maybe not targeting every packages, but globally we will have multiple releases. Do we want to have a monthly security blog post on, hey, we updated A, B, C packages, like almost every, let's say, I don't know if we want a specific day or second Monday of the month, like I don't really care about that, but something that would be a bit consistent about, hey, we are keeping the community up to date. Blog post, we retweet about that just to also engage more with the community. Could be great.
Yeah, it was I don't know to show the blog post I did, but yeah, basically the idea is to do one monthly, like the last day of the month, more or less. I mean, if it's Sunday, but the first day, but yeah, something like if we do any security release on that month, just to keep. I mean, we can start the blog post on the first one, and we have a new one. We add it there and just basically post it. So yeah, it's not that heavy. It's a little bit of overhead, but not that heavy. So it's all fine.
I think it's pretty good as also to like for external people to see that the ecosystem is alive again. So like even if there is a bit of an overhead, I think it's a good overhead overall for the community.
Fantastic.
I mean, if somebody wants to sign up to that commitment, great. I think that even doing it just quarterly makes sense in terms of what we have, it seems like, for bandwidth and stuff. Engineer brain being like, ooh, we could do that we could like automate our, if we have like Dependabot PRing updates, we can automate the pull down what updates it made, yada, yada. Updating the minutes, drop in here. There's some new agenda items. I'm not sure if we want to throw some stuff. Oh, let me update the link actually, because it's not set to editable. There we go. People with link can update. No, people with link can edit. Should be the same link, but here it is again. Oops, let me do this. Nope. Copy. Is there anything anybody wanted to throw on before we start looking at what we have on here?
Yep, looks good. Nothing new on my side, so.
I forget how I do this every time because my copy paste straight out of GitHub always comes with dark mode. Oh well. There we go. Clear formatting. I forget that's the one to do it. And is I posted also too I didn't expect anybody to really engage with this. This is a thing that I want to dig into when I have some time. Awesome. I just saw your you messaged Blake. Thank you very much. Yeah, I posted in the TC channel just some stuff about just noticing some issues about TypeScript stuff. I haven't dug too deeply into it. Basically, I think it was largely user error, but I just want to go back and review some of the definitely typed stuff that got merged in just to see it. I don't expect that there are any like bugs, but it was a very, very small diff for their changes. So I just want to make sure that the things that the API signatures that we removed, like, is that reflected in the type updates? Just that's some stuff I'm not going to invest a lot of time in because, we don't currently maintain those, but I saw issues come up about people being like, hey, I got the wrong type version, which I think was just user error, or rather there are potentially some things going on in definitely typed and how people rely on express types that might be issues or whatever with how people are depending on the types for different things. But again, it's low priority for me right now because, that's community maintained stuff that we don't have any knowledge over or the change or have informed the choices people have made there. So I know, Blake, I don't know if that is interesting to you at all, but I know that since you are more familiar with definitely typed mile and a lot of this stuff, if any of it interests you to like go kick tires or look at it, by all means, basically. Reply to this.
Yeah, anytime you need me to review stuff, I can definitely help. Otherwise, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah. So what it was is basically like people had opened issues, and I was like, oh no, I'm not super familiar with how this stuff works with definitely typed for their process, and so I pinged internally at on work. I guess Jake Bailey, one of the people who maintains TypeScript and definitely typed, just to be like, can you look at this? And he was like, we didn't. People were basically like, did you guys publish the wrong version to like 4.0 for types? And he was like, no, that didn't happen. Something else is going wrong with how people are consuming these. So he posted some instructions in there, and it's just something I'm trying to keep an eye on. So of that though, there's an interesting thing, which is just like, I know this isn't on the agenda, I'm just freewheeling, but the signature for like route handlers was always void officially, like, or in the definitely typed, because Express doesn't care what you return from it because it's never consumed. But that signature with promises changes from void, which in TypeScript is like, I don't care, do whatever you want, to void or promise void, which is a different type. So for some people that were writing handlers that were just like an inline arrow function, like they could potentially, I think I don't remember if they got fixed specifically with the way that they did void or promise void, but there was a change there basically. And again, maybe I'll dive in again when I have more time and figure out what if anything is really broken there. But yeah, that was Robin, somebody who has contributed some things in the past to Express. They were the one who did the update to definitely type. So cool stuff. But cool. Okay. Yeah. Do you guys want to look at some agenda stuff? I know Ulysses added a new thing or new to this to discussing, which is the tooling repository. We've been carrying around the socket.dev reports thing from meeting to meeting. Some new stuff came onto the agenda here: security working group regular meeting, and triage for issue triage regular meeting. Do we want to jump into any of these first? I mean, the tooling stuff is at the top of it here.
I can start with the tooling if you want. Will be easy, I guess. Yeah, there is like we have been discussing this on I think on the triage channel in Slack. Basically, there are some tooling that the people are doing, like, basic scripts and stuff like that. For example, so when you get like a triage to do like the follow on all the repositories, so you get notified on the things and stuff like that. So scripts like that, they are like self-gist. So the idea maybe is to come up with those like in a repository so the people can make use of it. We can have a control version, and even we can have some GitHub actions to automate some of this stuff. So that's the idea. If we are happy with that, the idea there is like to create just a tuning repository kind of thing, see if that progressed properly. If not, we can archive it. The big question here, if we are okay with that, is like, which is the best organization of all of the ones that we have today to use? I was thinking on Express, yes, because that was, I mean, at the beginning, we thought of just keeping that organization, so in case that we end up having everything until the same, but I'm happy to use, I mean, whatever feels better.
So really quickly, makes sense, I think, for me to be living in the Express organization, especially if what we put in at least at first, I don't remember if we kept it, but for the tech fund about trying to align and to move everything into the same organization and the same scope. So makes sense to put in Express. I will extend the tooling from what you are talking, it's GitHub Action for triager or some specific use case. I would like to extend the conversation, or do we want to have a more global, or maybe not just one repository, but a few one? I'm guessing today, if I remember, do we want to have the same configuration for, let's say, ESLint or anything about a linter or something that would be the same and imported on all project as a dev dependency? For CI, we can also build, and I think, Jonathan, we already discussed that like a few months ago about, do we want reusable GitHub Action that would do npm install using the caching system, running, I don't know, audit, linter, test, benchmark, security, like whatever we want. I think at the end of the day, building a few set, and maybe it will be 2, 3, 4, 5 repository. To be honest, I don't really care. Like, that's not a cost issue, on building this kind of tooling that slowly would help us to simplify the update across the full ecosystem, just to have the same pipeline, the same action being used. That way, if we want to update something to a new version, we only have to do it once. So fully agreeing on the tooling part, and I think it will be a long-lived effort to build everything that would help us to reduce by a lot the maintainability, like the time we spend to maintain something.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we can create a tooling repository and having like folders there for now, and later if we need to move something because it makes sense to have it separated, we can do it. So yeah, having a README and folders like triage, whatever, so that way we can just separate it a little bit. Okay, that's good. So that was a good decision. I think. Anybody against the idea, or we are kind of okay or neutral?
That's all good. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That was
Yeah.
a quick discussion.
With it, what I would say is like, it sounds like a cool idea to have a place just for ad hoc scripts and tooling and stuff like that. Specifically with the idea that it's like, hey, this is just an unstable like playground, so whatever. We don't have to go too crazy with it in terms of like, I don't even care if it's like a user's repository where like we have, point being is like stuff in here could break or whatever. If we want it to not break, we can move it to a like, official repo. Yeah. In terms of actions and stuff like that, like we do have the .github repo, which can help populate other things and all that. So point is like, yeah, man, create the tooling thing and give like merge permissions to everybody who's part of the org, in my opinion, like, or at the very least with the understanding that like stuff there shouldn't be able to be too destructive or whatever. I mean, don't merge in anything that can like steal credentials, but also like, we'll do our best to make sure that doesn't happen. But I would hope that anybody that we give a membered role to would not do that and be a pretty good way to get taken away. So, I'm down with that. I like tooling stuff. Yeah. At work, I'm used to seeing like, there's like a users repository where I have a namespace folder where it's just like anything stuff for interviews or scripts or random stuff, I can self-merge into it. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We in terms of permissions, like we can, I err on the side of like, we can make it permissive for this kind of thing, in my opinion. And if something goes bad, we can reevaluate, basically.
I think the only limitation, we don't want to import that in a project, but then I'm okay with being quite open on the permission.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, if something is useful and we're going to depend on it, when we can move it somewhere where, we can move it somewhere where we have a little bit more visibility into what's changing in it. So, but yeah, I like that. I mean, I'd be happy to work more on CI stuff. I always think that's fun. So, once we get everything out and whatever, I think that there's still going to be some changes I'll make to some various tooling CI workflow stuff. So tight. Yeah, create it and send us the link when you do, Ulysses. I'll add it in the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we talked about this. I don't know if we want to go to it. The make Express faster stuff, the issue that you had opened before about thinking about benchmarking. Do we want to talk about that, or do we want to jump to a security working group and triage stuff?
I can jump on that fast. Several lines seems like there is a growing interest in working a little bit more on benchmark. Honestly, I think we start to have a little bit more of fun with. Worth to mention that we have included an initiative on benchmarking on the STF submission. So technically, we should, if all goes good, we should work on that from January on. Not sure if we can start early on this, but any case, the idea that we submitted is to map out what needs to be faster and also to provide infrastructure to test if we are going faster or slower from release to release, basically. So one of the things in the approach that I was discussing with Andrea on the time on this issue is like, while I like to see how Express behaves in comparison with other frameworks, I think Fastify already is doing that pretty well. So we don't have to worry about that. I mean, Fastify is the fastest. There is no question on that. And then basically they compare with others. So that's include us on the stats. So we don't have to put any effort on that, right? Maybe what it worked for us, and I think that is very similar of what is the currently approach of Node.js, is to compare our own releases, right? Like, for example, is 5 faster than 4? Is 5.1 faster than 5.0? We got some regression on benchmarking and stuff. So that I think is the way to test. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to be like in terms of dedicated resources or stuff like that, because probably we want to have like a machine to do always the same benchmark on the same resources kind of thing, right? But we have this discussion ongoing with the Linux IT, Linux Foundation IT infrastructure team. They can provide us some infrastructure. Maybe we can ask for a machine, or I can just provide a machine. But yeah, basically that's something to discuss. Also, there is a discussion ongoing recently today on making like the framework twice faster just by replacing JSON parts or JSON stringify for using fast JSON, which we all know is faster. So these kind of things that can be part of the initiative of benchmarking. Question here in general, like seems like there is more interest growing on benchmarking. Seems like our own are very interested in going from benchmarking as well. So aside of the initiative, if that makes sense, maybe to start like a working group for benchmarking, and the people who are interested, maybe we can just bring them together in one space and just discuss about all of this in an organized way and create like a milestone or something, like preparing the land for the STF work as well.
Yep, definitely for the working group. I remember like the Node.js performance working group, or I don't remember the name. On
Yep.
that, the only thing is it started with a good bunch of people and then really quickly moved to only 1 or 2 people. So hard to keep traction on the benchmark and performance side. But totally agree. And I think we should not, like, depending on how we want to do, yes, benchmarking Express would be great, but I think if we have time or if we can, we should also try to plan to benchmark every packages that is part of the
Yep.
organization, especially because most, or at least a good chunk of our packages are used by every other framework. So yes, if there is a regression, it will impact us, but also to be aware that package XYZ is taking 10% more time to do the same computation as a previous version. So I think that would be great on that. Maybe target the packages that do have the most download, especially first. At least not a plan, but like just an open idea on just not blocking ourselves to just benchmarking Express. Especially because I guess most of the overhead will come from other packages that may be imported from Express. So starting from the foundation part and just going up may be easier to like on finding issue for performance.
Okay. Okay, that makes totally sense.
On the I muted myself. On the sovereign tech fund stuff, we'll hear back to us eventually about whether or not they're going to accept what we proposed or not, right?
Yeah, there's like I think they say they are going to reply to us
On the
on next
7th, I think
Monday.
you said? Yeah.
Yeah, next Monday, basically. So next Monday, I guess we can get an idea of yes or no to the technical requirements. And from that moment on, it's a discussion on all the legal paperwork, who want to do that, and whatever discussions are going on that. But yeah, also Robin is on holidays today. So I guess
Yeah.
not until next week we can progress on that. But yeah, I think the big question here is maybe I can ask them directly, like, it's okay if we start to work on some of this stuff already, or we should hold the horses until until we can start with the contract or not. So that's going to be like a secondary thing.
Cool. It's exciting. Are you drinking mate? You drinking mate over there?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's
yeah.
regaliz. I don't know. Regolize. I don't know the name in English now, but yeah, it's not exactly mate, but it's a different kind of tea. But yeah, it's the official.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
It's
look
the
up.
official device. The same device.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Cool.
Licorice.
Yeah.
Licorice. I think is the name. Yeah, in English. That makes sense.
Licorice. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Okay. This has been also, like I said, we've been carrying around socket.dev report. I don't remember where the heck. Oh, hold on. So there's one thing too. There was an issue linked in this. How to make Express 2 times faster. Oh, that was the thing you were talking about, which is
Yep.
JSON parsing. Cool. I'll just make sure I link to this and note what that was in the minutes. But yeah, do we have anybody who can talk to the socket.dev? I'm clicking into it now. I think we've added it.
I think we added in one of the repositories, maybe not in all of them. I guess nobody complains of the repository that we added, but I don't remember which one was. But yeah, I think we can add it.
Express.
Yeah, we had in one. I think was maybe in body parser. No, I don't remember which one was one of the repositories. But yeah, I think we are kind of okay. I mean, if everybody's happy with the idea, we can add it. It's not very annoying in the sense that it's proactive. So when you do a PR, it's going to tell you things. Otherwise, it's silence. So I think that's kind of okay. And we can, I think, sign up for the full organization and just get in all of the organizations, and we can just get the feedback. So if nobody's against it, we can just add it. And if it's become annoying, we can always disable it. So.
Is there other tooling that we would like to have? Not just related to security. I'm just thinking like at large. Like I'm guessing so there is that, not really direct tooling, but I guess we're a bit linked to socket dev. I think we discussed about um, the stuff you were working on.
Oh,
on
with the
Node.js.
scorecard?
Yes, thank you. I was
Yeah.
remembering like the duck and the shield and something.
Yeah. The
That's fun.
scorecard, it's kind of ready. I mean, that's a good, honestly, it's a good discussion ongoing. Yeah, so the scorecard submission, I mean, the report generation is added. So every time that we do a commit and stuff like that, we generate the scoring. The question is like, first of all, do we want to track it? I think that's part of the security working group task. So basically, we should track this and see the scoring and make our own metrics on that. But the question is, there are a lot of recommendations from the scorecard that worth discussing in terms of the TC approval. Like, do we want to have dependable? No. Do we want to have branch protection for everything? There are some exceptions. No. I mean, these kind of things we can discuss. I think Dependabot was a little bit controversial on the time last time we discussed it, but other things are kind of more easy. So I suggest that the next one of the topics here was to make a Express security working group meeting, because we have the channel and so on, but we didn't have a properly discussion. So maybe the idea is to discuss this on that specific forum and to bring some people from the TC and get an approval if we are happy with this idea, and progressively start adopting that. Currently, the initiative is stopped until we decide what to do in terms of general policies, like we want Dependabot or not, and this kind of thing, so the people can add the PRs for those. So basically, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will prepare that for that meeting, and yeah.
Okay. Yes, well, we talked about it just briefly now. That's security working group regular meeting.
Yep. I'm not sure when it's the right time for all of us. I guess that we can do like a meeting once a month, once every 2 weeks. Actually, there is some requirements from the OpenJS Foundation, because we're going to be in a pilot program for some of the stuff that they are doing. Like, for example, there is a initiative right now for like handling the CVS assignation for the security vulnerabilities, doing by the foundation directly. So we don't have to be requesting that to GitHub or to third parties and Mitre and these kind of things. Basically, we are going to control the numbers. And we thought that it's a good idea to be like the pilot program, basically. Chris and I are there, and Wes as well. So basically, the idea is to be just the pilot program, check the documentation, and so on. And so the idea is to bring also the security people from the foundation to that meeting, so we can discuss on the practical terms on how to implement and so on. So Yeah, I guess we need to do a then to see
And so you were
where it
saying
fits.
there's a requirement with that pilot project we're doing to have a like a weekly meeting, not
Maybe
weekly, but to have a
bi-weekly
meeting.
or one a month, something like that.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
definitely a
but
meeting.
to have a security triage meeting or security working group meeting.
Yeah, security working group meeting, and yeah.
So I guess we can start with at least once a month, and if needed, we can increase to once, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think, like, and technically we could use the same time slot, like move from at the end of the day between security and triage, maybe.
Yeah, that can be good. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
maybe not at 10 p.m. European time would be great.
yeah, to add Odell for European friendly time zones will be great. Yeah, and the same goes for the regular triage. I mean, there are some quite active people on the triage team that they are doing a great effort, honestly, and makes sense, I guess, to start doing some meetings just to coordinate this kind of tooling and other things, and also to start give them more responsibilities. One of the things also that worth mentioning there is like there is an opportunity to maybe start thinking on moderation as well. That can be part of the triage. Maybe not by default you become a moderator team, but maybe we can just make a subset of the team doing moderation, like in the same way as Node.js that moderation, but not maybe that extent. Maybe something easy, and we can start, building the policies and so on. But yeah, basically, those people will have a different set of permissions on GitHub. Basically, that's going to be like the big difference. They move from triage to something else that allow them to just close issues, log pull requests, log threads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be only us. But yeah, definitely someone from the TC should be on the moderation team, or maybe two people from the TC makes sense. But yeah, we can discuss that later on when we discuss on that. But yeah, that will be part of the triage kickoff meeting, I guess.
Like, and also linked to that, and I was thinking about the triage team. And if some people are volunteer or want to do that, it could be a great idea also to spawn a more, I don't want to call it documentation team, but let's call it example team, because they will be used to see maybe the same question coming back again and again. So it could also be great to create an example, and sorry for the
Yep.
name, we can find a better name, on, hey, how like we had 3 times the same or 5 times the same question in the last month. Maybe we can create some kind of internal tutorial that will be on GitHub, not necessarily posted on the blog post, even if some of them could be posted on the blog post on, hey, this is how you do that, or one specific use case
Yeah.
I can. So I think that could be great. Something that we tried to push on following the next 10 on Node.js. Unfortunately, it didn't add in people on everything. So, but it could be great, especially like I think it's a bit easier on a framework side than just on the Node.js itself, and make more
Yep.
sense on, hey, like the basic stuff. How can I build a REST API that handle uploading a file or multiple file? It's the good usual Multer, for example, or any other stuff, but people are already checking some documentation or articles that are most of the time deprecated, especially for something that is more than 10 years old. Adding like documentation or example that we try to keep up to date would be great for the community, and not find 6 years old article that may or may not be working anymore.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, also maybe we can add like a repository or something when we have some like predefined responses to things like, yeah, can you please add more information on this, or this is something that we don't support, blah, 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 these kind of things. So we can speed up also the process for the triage. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that being more important with V5 to make sure that we can point people to stuff that is actually accurate. Not that there's a huge delta, but it would be nice to be able to have something that exists, which has been written in the past, like year, basically. Written in the past 5 years. All right. Yeah, I mean, we drained the agenda. What else? I'm gonna scroll up through TC chat just briefly. I don't think we made like a final decision on release the release timeline stuff. I think like I think we were pretty happy with what we had at the end of the last meeting, basically. But Chris updated the release strategy repo.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
have.
I dropped the link.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think we have also maybe other things on the channel. Let me see. I remember there was something else in the. Oh, yeah. That also new one. Well, not new one, but yeah, there is. It's okay if we release tomorrow the Hero Devs announcement. I mean, if they release that on their blog as a blog post, the draft that we already review, it's that okay for all of us?
Yeah, I think so.
Or do we
In fact,
want to release like 5 blog posts first and then do the Hero Devs announcement?
it would be nice to coordinate them, but I don't think we have a hard date that we're going to be posting that release thing. So
Okay, so it's okay. I mean, we feel confident if they release it even before we do like the official announcements for 5.
I'm okay with it. I mean, like I would like it to be together, but I mean, I'll ping Chris and Wes. You all have feedback on this. I just ping Chris and Wes just to see if they can try to get eyes on that, basically.
Okay.
So I was just checking the link for Express releases. Could be great just to add what is the meaning of the green part for people that are not used to go to Node.js.
Yeah.
The gray
Yeah.
one is maintenance, blue one active, but the green one, not really sure.
I guess it'd be pre-release in this instance.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we have a name for it right now. Oh, I think we were tossing around the idea of unstable, basically.
Yeah, but
But
we
yeah.
need to be writing something.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
Okay, I think that's. Oh, we have the security audit also. Like, I think we finally finished with all the security patches. So that was the heavy lifting part, I guess. And now we need to finish with the reporting. So I sent them, I don't know, I mean, most of you will be on that email or not. I mean, there's something that we need to fix as an organization somehow. Like we need to have like an email alias or something so we can just email everybody on the TC on the same thread, because otherwise I'm keeping adding people on the threads. But yeah, basically there is like there is a discussion ongoing with the original PDF that they sent for the reporting. I added some suggestions as a comments. If you want to review that or add more suggestions, just feel free to add more comments on the links that I share by email. Otherwise, I think the deadline that they provide to us is like the 11th. So basically, like in 2 weeks, they are going to make the release of the report and the blog post. Obviously, after we review it and so on. But yeah, basically, like in 2 weeks, probably we can consider the audit finished and the assets published. So basically, everybody can have access to that. I wish that we can publish a blog post, maybe a short one, just explaining a little bit about the audit process, linking to the other blog post and including the PDF, just for the people to have a look if they want. But I don't know if someone has the bandwidth for working on that or not at all, or we can do it that later on as well.
Can we kick it to the foundation folks to be like, hey, can you help us just turn this link into a little bit of a not, just a explanation of what this is, basically.
Yeah. I think we can get some support from them. Actually, I think they are going to publish also a blog post saying that. So basically, I think, I mean, the entity that is doing that will do that. The foundation will do for sure a blog post, and maybe we can ask them if they can help us to do the blog post for Express. Yeah, maybe that's a good strategy. Okay, that was very good.
I mean, we might also, depending on what they write, like, and we could just repost what the foundation's post is, basically, assuming it makes sense to come from the blog. Being like, does it? I would expect it to pass the technical sniff test, but that's just the thing. Is like, we could easily just reuse theirs, assuming it's just like, hey, this audit completed. Here's the findings. Here's what this is. Basically, it's kind of what I expect them to be posting, anyways. So.
Okay, that's a very smart strategy, and we don't do a lot of effort, so that's
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
We save energy, which is always good. Fantastic. Yeah, but that's going to happen like in a couple of weeks, so we still have plenty of time for that.
Yeah, I'm scrolling back a little bit in here too.
Yeah, I was checking also regarding the benchmark. I was running the benchmark a little bit for 4 against 5, and 5 didn't seems like super fast in comparison to 4. Actually, was not that fancy. But maybe it's because I was using different versions or something, or I don't know. I was running just something locally, so maybe just Slack got
Yeah.
updated at the same time or stuff like that. Not in a dedicated machine, but worth checking. Yeah,
You
probably
were
also
saying that
when
you saw some. I saw you post those numbers that there was some perf regression on 5.
I think so, but yeah, it might be also that when we move the source code to ECMAScript 6 and so on, right? So maybe we can get rid a lot of workarounds for things that were not part of the language and stuff like that. So maybe we can get some improvements. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let's see. But yeah, part of the benchmark initiative, definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's good. Also, another topic that might be a little bit off topic. Do we want to do some sharing of the social media accounts so we can just upload like the recording videos and I don't know, some retweeting if needed, stuff like that? I'm not like really into Twitter anymore, but just to have like more than one person controlling it will be more like feasible for us to just do this kind of management thing, or we are okay as it is right now.
You're talking about what? Giving more people on the TC a login to Twitter?
Yeah, to Twitter, YouTube, these kind of things, so we can just upload like the videos. I mean, just to download a little bit from workload from West
From
basically,
Wes. Yeah.
and helping a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just even for buzz factor, it's a good idea. I still don't know the solve for like a password manager for an open source people. Just
Oh, we can
that would
get
be
a
nice.
free one password. Honestly, as
Yeah,
Express organization, we can ask if we use it strictly for Express. Then we can have it. I think Node.js has that also. So it's just a matter of doing a pull request to one password. In a
yeah.
public repository, they have like these are the organizations using this in a free plan, I mean, open source plan. And if you're happy with that, they can do a pull request and ask them if they can provide that access.
I think it's a good idea just to be
Okay.
able to share some stuff amongst TC folks, basically. I created. I don't remember how to. I need to change this eventually, but I think that I forget. I used like I think a personal email for like the Netlify deploy previews that we have on
Yeah.
expressjs.com. That's one of those things where it's like I would like to be able to move that to an Express email and then put a password in there
Yeah.
just so that I'm not the only one that has a login to it. So same thing
Yeah.
with that. We just put that we are using them for deploy previews and we get a free open source account. So
Yeah, that's maybe something that we can ask for the infrastructure support from the Linux Foundation. Like if we need like to have like a dedicated resources for that. I mean for that in terms of the hardware for the benchmarking. And if we need like to do a setup for the mailgun, for example. Node.js has this mailgun things that you can just do a PR and you basically refresh with the token and you get an alias. So you can send an email to, I don't know, TC express.org, express.com basically. So to get the emails to an alias and that's it. So and the same goes for logins and stuff like that. So basically like all of us, we can just log in since password, this kind of thing easily.
there exists a like Express email somewhere. I just have never. There is like a project email or two because I think we at least have like the security one. Or maybe we replace that with a foundation one. But Wes has said basically that there is an Express project email somewhere. So that should just go into the LastPass, I think.
Okay, that's cool.
Cool.
Talking about that, does anyone know where do we host the domain and stuff like that? Because I think
So-
that's archaeology of the project. That's why I'm asking. Like probably they're going to ask me like from the onboarding of the Linux Foundation IT. And also, by the way, anyone is interested also get on those meetings, like providing them all the details on how the domain works, infrastructure, things that we have, and so on.
I could be interested in that. I signed up for the cross project council, but I still have never gone to one. So
Okay.
I'm interested in getting more involved with stuff like that. I think we're on Cloudflare, or at least I see name servers on Cloudflare when I do a who is.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't actually. I see one API, one API.net. It's like I don't know. I'm looking at this who is, but I don't have a lot of information on where it's hosted. So I think Wes should know more about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if like the foundation itself has some of that information already. But I think Wes would probably know more.
Yeah.
I don't know who all these people own. Cool. Yeah, I just went to exactly. Oh, I go to
Yeah.
who.is, Alvaro, but thank you. What did we get? Yeah, I guess one API GmbH is the registrar.
Yeah, I think probably if it's in Cloudflare, probably Ben has control over it, so that's okay. I mean, it sounds like the foundation is controlling it, so that's great. Yeah, at least to be sure that someone is paying for the domain. That will be nice. Yeah.
That would
Okay.
be pretty good. That'd be useful.
Yeah, it will be useful. Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. Part of the process on this is like they have like an Excel full of questions of all the kind of infrastructure that you need and what we have and so on. And there's like a millions of questions to answer. And from that on, they help us a lot in getting resources, organizing, renegotiate things with providers and stuff like that. So I did the process for Node.js, and it was much more complex than expected because the CI was a little bit more tricky than ours. But yeah, in our case, I think it's going to be easy because we don't have a lot of hardware. Just GitHub, basically GitHub Actions.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think that's probably it. What else was I've had something I was just thinking about, but I don't know what it is now. So yeah, I don't know. I'd be excited to hear more about the Sovereign Tech Fund stuff. That'd be really cool to see us get accepted for that. So
Yeah, that would be
Great.
nice.
what was that, Jean?
No, I was saying that it would be great to have a positive feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to merge this removing bail from our test script thing. I just remembered that this PR was still open. I just merged it. Ulysses had approved it, but yeah. We have -- bail in our CI test script, in our test script in general. So
Oh, yeah.
removes bail so that if we fail multiple tests, we'll see them in the PR runs and stuff. So cool. Okay, well, see you guys
Cool.
later. I'm gonna be off. Like not this next week. I'll be off. I took a week off for my birthday. I might be doing open source. I might be around. I'll be around for meetings probably unless I'm traveling. But yeah, so hopefully see you guys then.
Yeah. Happy birthday. then.
Fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah. Cool. All right. Bye. And by the way, we didn't even say hi, but thanks for joining, Alvaro and Sebastian. Not sure that I met Sebastian, but if you wanted to say hi, hello, Sebastian. Thanks for joining
Hi.
us. Hey, Alvaro, what's up?
Sorry, I joined later, but yeah.
You're good, man. If you want to catch up, I'll drop the minutes link. I'm going to post the minutes link to the issue as well. I didn't do that in the middle of this meeting, but
Yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
this is the stuff we talked about. But yeah, but yeah, cool. Bye, guys.
Have a good day or good
Yeah.
night or
Good night.
You guys
everything
have a
else.
good night.
Yeah.
Everything in between. All right. Cheers, y'all.
Okay.
Bye.
See you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.